Purpose and presence. Hub. Have you ever wondered why some people remain so calm that they seem like they're from another planet? Today, I'm going to show you exactly how you can reach that level. This isn't just a technique, it's a complete transformation that will change your life. We've all seen those people who never lose their composure. When everyone else is panicking and chaos is spreading everywhere, they just take a deep breath and solve the problem. When others are sweating during an important presentation, these people speak as if they're having a casual chat with a friend. When others get caught up in arguments, these people respond with such remarkable calm that it's astonishing. And what do people say about them? Man, how does he stay so zen? Friends, here on Purpose and Presence Hub, I'm going to tell you about an ancient system created by the most legendary samurai in Japanese history. This system can give you precisely that seemingly impossible level of serenity. Yamato Damashii called it Gorin no Sho, the Book of Five Rings. But this isn't just a book of military strategy. It's a manual that transforms your mind into an impenetrable fortress that no one can breach. When you understand how this system works and apply it to your daily routine, you will never lose control in any stressful situation in your life again. But remember one thing. This system isn't about relaxation and being zen. It's about something much deeper and more powerful. It's about becoming completely unshakable. Let me tell you about Yamato Damashii technique. But first, if you're enjoying this content on Purpose and Presence Hub, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and definitely comment about which situation you wish you could stay calmer in. This helps the channel grow, and your feedback helps me create better content. Now, let's get back to the topic. There was an executive named John. John was a brilliant man with an MBA from 2 universities, but he had one problem. Whenever pressure increased, he would fall apart. Presenting to the board meant a shaky voice. An important negotiation meant a blank mind. A conflict with the team meant an emotional outburst. The pattern was always the same. In normal situations, he had complete confidence. When first pressure came, anxiety would increase. At maximum pressure, complete collapse would happen. Then anger at himself for losing control again. John tried everything. Breathing techniques, mindfulness, even therapy. But nothing worked because he was trying to control something he couldn't even imagine. He was trying to control his emotions when what he actually needed was to become someone who naturally doesn't get upset. Then one day, he discovered why Yamato Damashii had never lost in 60 duels. And it wasn't just about swordsmanship, it was something much deeper and more frightening. Musashi wrote something that changes everything. The mind should be like water. When water is calm, it reflects perfectly. When it's agitated, it cannot reflect at all. But what people don't understand about this metaphor is that it's not about being zen and relaxed. It's about developing what he called Fudoshin, the unshakable mind. In Musashi's duels, men died in seconds. There were no second chances, no time to calm down, no pause for a deep breath. It was life or death in fractions of seconds. And in 60 duels, he never once lost his composure. He discovered something our brains still haven't grasped. Pressure isn't something that happens to you. Pressure is something you create in your own mind. When you feel pressure, your primitive brain interprets it as a life or death threat. It releases cortisol and adrenaline, preparing you to fight or flee. Your heart races, your mind gets confused, your hands tremble. You're not reacting to the real situation. You're reacting to what your primitive mind thinks the situation is. John learned this the hard way. He had to give a presentation to the company's biggest client. $2 million was at stake. A room full of executives. And the moment he started speaking, his mind just froze. The presentation wasn't creating the pressure. What he was thinking about the presentation was creating the pressure. The movie playing in his head. If I fail here, I'll be fired. Everyone will know I'm a fraud. My career will be over. This mental movie was more real to his brain than the actual situation. And his brain was reacting as if a tiger had attacked him. Here's Musashi's first lesson that changes everything. The enemy is not in front of you. The enemy is in your mind. When you understand that pressure is a mental construct, not an external reality, you can begin to deconstruct it. But Musashi thought even further. He didn't just want to manage pressure. He wanted to become immune to it. And for this, he developed what he called Haijoshin, the ordinary mind. Haijoshin means maintaining exactly the same mental state in every situation. Whether you're talking to a friend or fighting for your life, drinking coffee or presenting to the board, the mind doesn't change. This doesn't mean becoming robotic or emotionless. It means your center, your essence remains unshakable, regardless of what's happening around you. John started practicing this in a way that seemed crazy at first. He chose low-pressure situations and practiced maintaining exactly the same mental state he had when alone at home. Ordering coffee at Starbucks, same breathing, same posture, same calm. Talking to the boss, same calm. Simple negotiation, same focus. The first week was a disaster. His body was constantly fighting against it. Heart racing, palms sweating, voice trembling. This is normal. Your nervous system has been programmed to react to pressure for millions of years. You're reprogramming something very ancient. By the second week, something started changing. He noticed he could maintain calm breathing for longer before the system went into alert mode. By the third week, he spoke at a small meeting and maintained exactly the same mental state he had at home. A neuroscientist at Stanford University, who has been studying stress responses for 18 years, discovered something fascinating. When you consciously practice maintaining the same neurochemical state in different contexts, you literally rewrite the neural pathways responsible for the stress response. The brain learns that the situation is not a real threat. One of the mechanisms for reprogramming these neural pathways is exposure to stressful situations. You can't overcome a problem if you don't face it. Don't worry, this doesn't mean you have to leave this video right now and immediately confront your problem. You need to prepare for it like John did, training with smaller and less stressful situations. Musashi developed something further that he called mu, meaning emptiness. And here's where it gets really interesting, because it's not about emptying your mind of everything. It's about emptying your mind of the right things. John discovered this when he finally managed to give a presentation without shaking. But he realized he was still spending too much mental energy thinking about the presentation instead of simply presenting. Musashi wrote, "When the mind is filled with thoughts of fighting, there is no room for fighting." Translation: when you're thinking about how not to be nervous, you can't focus on what actually matters. Musashi's emptiness isn't Zen meditation. It's strategic cleansing of the mind. You remove everything that doesn't serve the present moment and keep only what's essential. John started doing what he called mental clearing before every pressure situation. 3 simple questions. What do I need to do now? What do I need to know now? How do I need to be now? Anything that didn't answer these 3 questions was out of his mind. Worry about the outcome, out. Fear of others' judgment, out. Anxiety about the future, out. All that remained was the task, the necessary knowledge, and the ideal mental state. But here, the real problem started. Despite Haijoshin and Mu, John still felt like he was fighting something every time pressure came. Like he was forcing himself to be calm instead of naturally being calm. That's when he discovered Musashi's third principle. The battle is won before it begins. Musashi never entered any duel expecting to prepare immediately. All the preparation happened beforehand, long beforehand. By the time the sword was drawn, he was already mentally in a state of victory. John realized he was trying to calm himself during pressure situations. This never works. Once the adrenaline has already spiked, once cortisol has flooded the system, once the heart is racing, it's too late to try to control the reaction. Real preparation happens in pressure-free moments. He started what he called ghost training. Every day for 20 minutes, he would mentally simulate pressure situations and practice maintaining the Haijoshin and Mu states. Big presentation next week, so every day he would visualize himself walking into the room, starting to speak, answering difficult questions, all while maintaining the same mental state he had while drinking coffee at home. The brain can't perfectly distinguish between real experience and vividly imagined experience. When the real situation came, it wasn't the first time. Mentally, he had already experienced it hundreds of times. In the 6th week, the ultimate test arrived. Presentation to the board of directors, 15 executives, a $5 million project. If it failed, there was no going back. John walked into the room, and something happened that had never happened before. He felt at home, not nervous, not confident, not anxious, just present. Like he was in his kitchen making a snack. The presentation flowed smoothly. Difficult questions came, and he answered them as naturally as if talking about the weather. Aggressive questions arose, and he handled them as if it were a casual conversation. At the end, one of the directors said something that changed his perspective forever. "John, your calm is intimidating." Intimidating, not impressive, not admirable, intimidating. When your serenity makes others uncomfortable, you know you're operating at the right level, because there's something about true calm that people can't process. Most people become so accustomed to their own mental turmoil that when they see someone genuinely serene, it exposes their inner chaos. Their peace becomes a mirror of their own lack of control. And this is where you discover the real power of Musashi's system. Musashi understood something most people never will. Calm is not passivity. Calm is power. When you don't react emotionally to provocations, pressure, or attacks, you force others to show their cards first. They reveal their strategies, their weaknesses, their fears. While you remain a closed book. In negotiations, this is devastating. The other party becomes desperate to get a reaction from you. They make increasingly aggressive offers. They reveal information they shouldn't. They make mistakes they wouldn't make with someone who's visibly nervous. John discovered this when he started using calm as a strategy. A client was trying to pressure him. He just listened. Didn't agree, didn't disagree. Just absorbed everything, maintaining his unshakable center. The pressure they were applying was coming back to them. It's exactly like trying to push against a wall. All the force returns to the pusher. 3 months later, he became known around the company as the man who never loses his composure. 6 months later, he was promoted. A year later, he was running the company's most important division, not because he was smarter than everyone else, but because he had become unshakable. The complete Gorin no-show system we're sharing with you on Purpose and Presence Hub has 5 elements that Musashi developed. First is earth, Haijoshin, ordinary mind, always the same mental state. Second is water, Mu, productive emptiness, mind clear of the unnecessary. Third is fire, ghost preparation, mental training before the real battle. Fourth is wind, reading the environment, observing without reacting emotionally. Fifth is emptiness, unshakable center, an identity that doesn't move. Each element builds on the previous one. You can't skip steps. You can't go straight to the void without mastering the ordinary mind. You can't develop an unshakable center without first clearing your mind of the unnecessary. It took John 6 months to fully integrate the 5 elements, but when he did, when this transformation was complete, people literally started treating him differently. Colleagues started asking him for advice on how to handle pressure. Bosses put him in the toughest situations because they knew he wouldn't break. Clients respected him in a way they never had before. A behavioral psychologist at Harvard University, who has been studying leadership under pressure for 15 years, explained that there's a specific neurological quality in people who maintain genuine calm during stress. They literally emit different neurological signals that other brains interpret as authority and trustworthiness. It's a primal response. We follow those who remain calm in the face of chaos. The Gorin no-show system won't make you a more relaxed person, it will make you a different person. Someone people will look at and think, how can she stay so calm? When you implement the 5 rings, ordinary mind, productive emptiness, phantom preparation, non-reactionary reading, an unshakable center, you're not just managing pressure. You're becoming someone who is naturally immune to it. And when that happens, when this transformation is complete, you'll discover what Musashi knew 400 years ago. Real power doesn't come from reacting to pressure. It comes from being so centered that pressure simply slides right off you. The question is, do you want this level of serenity? Because it's not about relaxation techniques. It's about death and rebirth, the death of your reactive self and the birth of your unshakable self. The Gorin no-show system won't teach you to handle pressure. It will transform you into someone who doesn't have control over pressure because pressure simply doesn't exist. And when you reach that point, when people start saying your calm is intimidating, you'll know you've finally understood the secret Musashi, immortalized in his writings. Serenity is not a state of mind. It's a way of being. If you enjoyed this video on Purpose and Presence Hub, please subscribe to the channel and activate the bell icon so you don't miss future content. And definitely tell me in the comments which pressure situation you want to master using the Gorin no-show system. Remember, the calm that intimidates others is the only calm worth having. If you've watched this far, thank you so much. See you in the next video.